Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Hey, today we're going to take a look at this yearbook that I have, and we're going to tell a little story about this yearbook, and we'll look through it. So, this yearbook is the 1950 Stanford Quad, and look how thick it is, and it's heavy. It's from 1950, and I purchased it at the library in Pacifica, California, for $2 one day at a book sale about 10 years ago. So when I first got this, um, my mind frame was different, I think, as an artist, and I was kind of goofy. Look what it says right here. It says government property, not to be sold. This is part of like the naval department at Stanford, I believe. Like this is like the Navy ROTC's personal yearbook, but it doesn't have any signatures in it. It didn't have any signatures in it when I got it. So I got this, and as an artist at this point, I really loved it, thought it was really cool. But as an artist at this point, I thought it was like edgy or cool to like kind of put graffiti inside of it in the same way as they did in the National Lampoon uh, yearbook special, right? So I drew throughout it, okay? And for a couple, 2, 3 years, this book was on my coffee table, and I would draw things in it every once in a while. Like, look at this page over here. You see the introduction. You got all these cool cartoon people doing stuff, and you can see I drew a butthole on this football player. So there's going to be a lot of humor just like that butthole type humor. That's why I have this slip of paper. This slip of paper is to cover up penises and vaginas that I've drawn in here, and maybe some other gross stuff. But there's going to be stuff in here that's not funny. But we're not going to look at all of it. We might not even come to that stuff because it's voluminous, as you can see. We're already 2 minutes in. We've barely looked at it. So this is the dedication from Herbert Hoover. I imagine he must have been the president at the time. So he had his hand on the desk right here, and to me it looked like he could be holding a handgun. So I drew that gun in his hand. It kind of looks perfect, doesn't it? This was the beginning, maybe the first thing I drew in here, other than that butthole. And I realized that this paper is so glossy and thick and high quality that it does not absorb ink at all. So when you draw something in here, you have to leave the page open to let the ink dry. Otherwise, it will bleed over to the other side. So that's another thing that once I realized that, then I stopped. Then I realized the way to draw in here was just a small amount at a time, like a page, a little doodle one day, leave it open until it dries, and then close it, and then a couple days later draw something else. See, like, look at this administration. See, they were all just standing there, like staring at him, and he's sweating. So I made him look like he peed his pants. I mean, isn't that the perfect thing to do? So that's the kind of level of humor that we're going to be looking at through here. And there's not that much of it. Some of it is not even humorous. Some of it's just really weird and strange, like Dr. J.E. Wallace Sterling. This is the best. If I wasn't Meyer Greenblatt, I would be H. Donald Winbigler. So some of this stuff I would do, like I redacted this statement. So it says the administration takes from that Memorial Church chaplain business manager in every aspect of life, although enrollment came down this year from the peak reached during the post-war years. Problems of administration admission and were still with us and have been handled. The relations, but this was a funny idea. I completely altered the sentences to make it. Then I would do stuff like this to try and. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that any of this is funny. It's just weird, and it was supposed to be weird, and it really, some of it didn't come across good at all. Snakes and chocolate chip cookies. Pat said this morning that a good thing to bring for Joanne and Stanley's get together would be snakes and chocolate chip cookies. I can't even. What was I saying here? Snakes and chocolate chip cookies. Pat said this morning that a good thing to bring for Joanne and Stanley's get-together would be snakes and chocolate chip cookies. She is not by herself during the day any longer. There is Carmela and Tootsie. I can't help feeling as if time and space moves without purpose or degree of intensity. It is all gray and dreamlike. Pete and Jill will be coming for Thanksgiving. Snakes and chocolate chip cookies. So this little story about his wife slipping into dementia or delusion or schizophrenia and talking about bringing snakes and chocolate chip cookies to a party. Paul C. Johnston, the Stanford chaplain in 1950. Oh, this is kind of cool. I'm just so sorry. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. I took a picture of this and posted it on Instagram this morning. I do have Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's me. It's Meyer Greenblatt. Once she was gone, she was never coming back. It was just Mitzi and me now. Where's that little slip of paper? We can't look at everything, right? I don't think we can look at everything. So how cool is this book? I mean, it's full of stuff, you guys. It's full of pictures. There's candid pictures in here. There's incredible names in here. There's so much to go through and look at and kind of figure out and piece together and kind of imagine what this must have been like to go to Stanford University in 1950. Oh, what happened? I drew something. No. Maybe it bled through from the other side, or maybe that's an imperfection on the paper. And it goes on and on and on. So we can't look at all this stuff, so we're going to flip through, and if we come to something, we'll stop. Because right now we're just looking at these pictures of people, and I'm really glad I didn't draw on these people's faces any more than I did. Because now, sitting here 10 years later, I regret doing some of this stuff, like writing like sin and drawing like devil horns on somebody's great-grandfather or something. This is the nurses. So I'm glad I didn't do too much. Because I don't think I would like to continue doing what I was doing, kind of defacing this piece of history. See, look, it says enter the rabbit hole here. You see that? This is the kind of stuff, I mean, I didn't know we were going to find this, but it's not really all that funny, right? It was funny to me at the time. It doesn't seem like it's all that funny now. It's misogynistic is what I would call it. Juvenile. In bad. Ooh, look at this picture. Definitely in bad taste. Look at this. God, I'm so glad I didn't do anything to this. How cool is that? So preserving this stuff is really important, because if I wouldn't have bought this for $2, probably nobody else would have, and it might have just been thrown away, or it would have been thrown away. It was going to be thrown away. It was the throwaway. It wasn't even really a book sale. It was like throwaway thing. Do we risk this? Do we risk reading this? It could be something really bad. It could be really bad. Driving her home later that night, speeding over winding black roads. Her lips parted and she spoke. She spoke like the broken wind. as a flitting, lilting shuttlecock. Drifting on wings, her words, like kumquats, to be ripely picked by my auriculars. Drive me home, Hank. Her words, Capable Hank, I am called, but driving her home is far from my mind by now. Surging blood flows to my brains in impeding rational thought. I must possess her. I really want to bury her in a hole. I mean, it's stupid. It's really stupid. It's not funny at all, and it's fucking weird. But this was going to be a project. This would be a gallery opening. This would have been like presented on a pedestal inside of a gallery. And there would have been art dealers coming and turning the pages and marveling in my edginess. They would have been investing in this yearbook, right? And this yearbook would have gone on tour. It would have been in the SF MoMA and then the New York MoMA and then the Des Moines MoMA and right. So doesn't Stanford University look like a lot of fun in 1950? You guys, whoa, look at this. Dollies and Devils invade Union. Look at that Salvador Dali costume, or is that a Picasso? That's a Picasso, the second from, yeah, the woman, number 2, is Picasso, I see it. So that's supposed to be Dolly on the left, I guess? Or no, Dolly's, is that Lady Dolly? Is that a mustache? No, I guess maybe the devil is supposed to be Dolly. This guy doesn't have a mustache either. Didn't Dolly have that big funny mustache? All right. Big game fever, you guys. They go crazy on campus for big game fever. Hey, I'm up to no good in here. I draw like, this is like in 2013 when I was drawing in here. That's kind of weird. All right, let's get back to work flipping through because there's probably cool stuff. And we're at 12 minutes and we could probably go a little bit longer. And drama and music. Ram's head. So it must have just been that ram's head, and then I made it into... Oh, look at that. Ain't that the truth? Better time, better place, better people. That's my favorite thing that I wrote in here so far. One of my favorite. I mean, that's something good. I like that. So this is the plays that they put on, and Jiminy Cricket, were they some plays? Look at these productions. See, this is the type of stuff that's in here that's not necessarily funny. It's just weird. Winter Candidates. This is all the parties, I guess. Those rainy days and nights. Speaking of which, it's pouring outside right now. You guys want to look real quick? Hold on. Oh, no, you've seen rain before. Jeez, what am I talking about? Anyway, you might be able to hear it because the windows are open because I live in California, and when it rains, it's still like 60 degrees outside or 65 or something. I don't know. It's not cold. It's just pouring down rain right now, and there's no wind, so it's not even coming in the window. It's just dropping outside. You know, I suppose that it's totally possible that somebody who's in this yearbook could somehow stumble upon this video. So if that's happening or has happened, I fully apologize for anything that I have defaced. And I'm sorry that if you didn't get a yearbook or you lost yours, then this one of all of that were left in the whole world, this one that is left is in the possession of Meyer Greenblatt. Oof. Hoofa. Oh, I just saw something bad. This is probably the guys. This is the department. This is the guys who had this yearbook. It's the NROTC. Look at that office. So this yearbook came from there. That's kind of cool thinking about it, isn't it? This yearbook was in the possession of one of these characters right here. One of these fine naval service members. Thank you for your service. Campus girls. This is a good part. Oh, why this thing is out is I made a video yesterday or the day before with these pictures of these girls because I liked these pictures so much and I remembered them and I pulled them out. So it says campus girls. These are like, I don't even want to use, these aren't debutantes. These are Stanford University students they probably all are the class of 1950. These are probably all seniors. And these are in the opinion of the editors of the Stanford Yearbook and the photographers of Stanford Yearbook, these are the most beautiful girls on campus. That's what I would take from this. Wouldn't you? Because it just has their names and they all have these beautiful photographs. But there's more in here like this. It's not just these girls. There's a few other girls that are in here that get, if I remember right, that get full page spreads too. Oh, that's one's kind of cool that I drew. And then I got the idea of adding color, and I painted this guy pink, or colored him in with a pink felt tip pen or something. I don't know how I did it. I don't remember. Jesus, you guys. Football stuff is really cool in here, and looking at the players, and they have recaps of every single game that they played in the whole season, and they show all the statistics of all the games. Isn't this cool? Look, look, Stanford blew out Washington 40-0. How could they blow out Washington 40-0 and then only tie Santa Clara? Santa Clara is like a little tiny school. And they blew out Idaho 63-0. Oh, look at, there's something cool I drew. Grawr! I mean, I didn't draw anything. I just wrote the letters on there. Well, here's me adding more color right here. I probably started with this fire. I probably I'm pretty sure I saw this fire and I thought I should paint this fire with orange and yellow acrylic paint and try and make it look like it's on fire. So then I thought, well, since I already have the orange out, I'll eventually do all these fireworks. So I'll just throw some orange and I'll do some orange stuff. Just a little bit, because then I'll add more color to the page later. Those are just the orange elements. But I never went back and did anything. They lost to Cal. Oh, what's going on here? See, it's not always funny, but then sometimes it really is funny. Like maybe that might have made somebody laugh out there. Somebody might have laughed at that. If somebody laughed at that, I did my job. You know, from a young age, I really, really liked making people laugh. And I discovered that I could make them laugh by just quoting commercials when I was about 4 years old. So I could just go, I could walk into a cocktail party and go and stick my belly out and rub it and go, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. And everybody would laugh. Look at how cute little Meyer is. And then I would say, that's a spicy meatball. And everybody would laugh and laugh and laugh. So that was kind of the beginning of my glorious career of trying to make people laugh. I used blue this day. This day I decided to paint blue in the yearbook. So at this point, it looks like Stanford's mascot was an Indian, a Native American Indian, And then they switched it some time ago to a tree. Now it's just a tree. But in the old days, it used to be this Indian. That's delightful, isn't it? I don't know why that's making me laugh, but I think it's funny. So, maybe it means nothing, right, to you. Maybe this means nothing to you, but the word yodel bean is pretty funny. Okay, yodel bean, yodelly, all right. I think that's like something like maybe from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He does that thing, right? Randall P. Murphy. He makes a V and holds it up to his face and then sticks his tongue in that V and wiggles it around. That's the yodel. And he's like, that yodel bean. And so that's what's happening here. The girls are playing field hockey. And they're all really focused. All these girls playing field hockey, their main interest is the yodel bean. You can take that wherever you want to take it. I think it's funny. And I didn't even realize I made that joke all those years ago. I think it's funny. These are all the winners. These are the winners. Some were the losers. That's like it sounds like the intro to like a Connie Stevens song that she would have performed like at Harrah's in Tahoe in 1974. I'm not sure. I mean, I saw Connie Stevens live performing in Tahoe in the early 70s. That's probably why I said that. We used to, we used to be quite involved in that scene, and my mother used to have like these season tickets, front row to every dinner show with every big act in Lake Tahoe for years and years. So I got to see Sammy Davis Jr. do the Candyman. Front row, he shook my hand, little tiny hand. He was a small man, and I was like 10 years old, and his hands were the same size as mine. But he was packed with talent. Saw Barry Manilow, front row. I saw so many people and was so close to so many people when I was a child that I almost don't even remember them all. I'm serious. What's it say? Roble Hall. This is a highly rated hall because what I wrote down here is, as you can see, Roble Hall scored well this year, racking up points with their girlish charms. There are some hot girls in Roble Hall. I'm hoping that I'm going to pay off. I really thought that we had more full-page photos of the real campus beauties. I thought we did. Maybe that's the only one. Maybe I was mistaken. Maybe I was thinking of that picture because it goes right to advertising after this. And all this stuff going on. What is all this? So this will be the end. We'll look at this ad right here. I wrote something on it. All right, so this will be the end. It's probably not going to be funny at all, but let's see what it says. The pain, hopelessness, and fear has become unrelenting every day the voices draw closer. Their thoughts are now my thoughts. We must whisper and creep to avoid detection. We can read other people's thoughts from miles away with mind control. He will finally be mine. Thanks so much for joining me here and watching this video about the Stanford Quad 1950 yearbook. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and evening. Take care. Bye.